The first KvK season of Call of Dragon is starting in a few days. We have some of the biggest alliances in the entire game, as well as the biggest YouTubers of the entire games with and against us. We also have quite a lot of changes. No more long-range warfare, massive account updates on my end. So today I'm going to give you an update on everything you've missed, as well as everything to expect from the next few weeks. Hey everyone, Zoraz here from the Casuals. So we will talk a little bit about everything that's going on right now. First, of course, many of you will notice that I am now in Echo. I have left TFS along with more than about half the alliance that has now formed Echo with a lot of different elements from TFS. Now, there is absolutely no bad blood with TFS or Jason or anything there. It's just a little bit of, I guess, difference of opinions, different way of leading and being managed. And I have decided to try something new. And this is where I am with Echo, as well as many of the people I've been playing since the very beginning, because obviously many people of you will know that I used to be in MT as well as FS, which merged into TFS when Jason bought the account that was leading FS. So this is why I decided to go, because all of my friends that were originally with me since season 1 are now in this alliance as well. So we obviously have a pretty stacked roster. We have 18 million with 190. So we are basically a very strong alliance, but we also are on a fresh server with not a lot of shells and stuff. So we are just starting anew. This is going to be, of course, a challenge for us, as we are going to go against alliance that have been set up for many seasons already. But we are obviously made up of many whales and people who have obviously well over a billion units killed in the game, which is something that cannot be said for many people. So we've had people who've seen a lot of war, and obviously SOD being one of them. So this is going to be a very exciting season. Obviously a lot of proving to do on our end, and a lot of great competition on the enemy side. As many of you will know by now, we are going against obviously some of the biggest servers and alliances in the game. 41 being the alliance where Chisgule plays, which is BDO, which has been obviously established from the beginning and obviously made up of a lot of strong players, as Chisgule is a very strong YouTuber, but also a very big Rise of Kingdom player, and he has a big core of people with infinite amount of monies who can obviously push and lead. So this is going to be a very tough fight. Now they are quite a bit more numerous than we are, because their server has Shell Alliance and a lot of people, while we are basically a one alliance kingdom. But we obviously think it's still going to be a great fight, and we have really strong allies and other enemies in the other servers. We have NA, which is Novo Avengers, which is where Hulksden plays, another big, if not one of the OG YouTubers for this game, as well as we have AC on the enemy side, which is also a very strong alliance. So we are going to have a very action-driven KvK, because there is a lot of big names and big alliance and people who have to prove themselves. Obviously, this is a great example of people having to prove themselves. You can see here the amount of training that BDO has done is quite humongous. Now, for those of you who've been watching me for a while, you realize that I obviously have gone up in power quite a bit, as I've pushed T5 in the last season, and I am now at 82 million. I have everything T5 unlocked, all the research and everything, so it has been a good push. Obviously, there is nothing to show for it, as the last skins were unattainable for anyone who didn't push like 40 million power. But it was time for me to push into T5. Now, I also have quite a lot of saved up stuff, as you can see here, over 1,000 of these. Now, for my priority, of course, I am keeping these legendary hero tokens since the very beginning. The reason being that I am obviously aware of how this game goes from my Rise of Kingdom experience. I know that every new heroes that come out is always stronger than the last one, so I really suggested from the beginning to not spend the universal tokens, because you will need them for when a new hero comes out in season 3 or season 4 or whatever, and it is obviously going to be hard to have enough of the G3 tokens. So when the Mage come out, I would be able to basically max both of them instantly the moment they come out. So this is kind of the goal that I have behind this. And this is why I'm saving this so much. So the status of my Mage obviously is that they are mostly all maxed. I have Lilia, Velen, and as well as Bertrand, Tohar, which are completely maxed. I also have a max Tia, which allows me to have 3 Mage marches when I want to, which is very powerful, especially considering how infantry are prevalent right now. And in that case, I simply use Waldair as one of the primaries because of his skill talents. So it's usually going to be Waldair with Velen, and then we're going to have Bertrand with Tohar, and we're going to have Lilia with Tia. Obviously, you can also put Bertrand with Tia, and then Toar can go with basically anyone, including Lilia. So there's a lot of ways to do this around, but this is how my account is. So I have everything pretty much maxed. I also have a level 4 Terrifying Inferno. I have a level 2 Nightmarish Reveries, and I also have a maxed out level 5 Phoenix Eye. So I'm pretty good on mages, and when the new mages come, I'll be able to even tweak these marches more and have a even more solid 3 mage march. So that is where my account is focused. Now, Zeta, Umbusi, and Magrat are the 2 most broken heroes in the game currently until the new infantry comes out. So I have been working on them because they are pretty low investment for how strong they are, especially Magrat. I only need 5550 and then she's perfect. And my Zeta obviously is doing pretty well from all the Wheels of Fortune and stuff. I'm pretty close to maxing her out, but I am doing it on a very slow way because I don't want to spend any universal sculptures. So obviously, we know that long-range warfare might not be part of the next season. It looks like it's not going to be. So the use of Zeta and Magrat will be a lot lessened from having long range. It will still be very prevalent, and I do think they'll do very well against infantry because of how much of the healing that Magrat provides to kind of like counteract the counter-attack damage. So this is going to be one thing, but I am sure glad that I skipped kind of Syndrian and Freygar altogether because I do not think they'll do very well in the future if there is no long range. I could be surprised, obviously, it could be wrong, but as of currently, I'm just not thinking it's going to be great. So this is why many people think that we will be seeing the counterattack meta come back from the first seasons of this game, which obviously involves Kinara and usually Hosk, as Hosk the primary full precision with Kinara secondary. You can do some very solid stuff with that. I'm also a big fan of Kinara Nico when Nico and Kinara are both max, as they are absolutely amazing, and I've seen them trade just as good if not better than Syndra and Freygar because of how strong the awakened skill of Nico is with these two. But again, without a long range, it's just not going to be the same, but there still is some counterattack damage build to be done with these two, and that might be just one way of playing archers for the next future because of the no long range warfare. So this is where my investments lie right now. And next, I would say Goresh is the #1 priority for me right now. I am going to be spending my G2 token basically that I have left on him, and then I will be slowly building him up, and probably just before war starts I'm going to be using some of these to maybe max him out because he is going to be a brutal fighter for this season, knowing that infantry are going to be the most important unit type due to their recent buff, and just because of the fact that they are going to set the pace of battle, and infantry is obviously going to be the most important. So in my opinion, if you have anything to invest in from G2 or previously, it's going to be Goresh. Skogul, not bad at all, but Goresh is much better, much more important, especially if you can max him out, or at least do 5551, which obviously I'm not going to do, but I'm going to reroll eventually and see if I can get lucky. So we shall see about that in the future, but really Goresh, really big investment priority in my opinion for the future of this game. Now, of course, we know that there is going to be a new Cav Heroes that are coming very soon, as well as after the new Cavs, it will be most likely the new infantry. So we know that the next two, you know, they're going to be Cavs. We already know they're coming. We have been, their skills are announced. Everything is known about them. I am not going to go for them because they're Cav. Are they going to be absolutely broken as Cav Heroes? Yes, they are going to be demolishing anybody they touch. And rally-wise, they might be absolutely amazing. But they're still Cavs, which means that in 90% of open field scenario, they are completely useless. Their utility is to destroy reinforcement and backlines, farmers. If you send any Cavs into infantry line or mage ball or archer ball, they'll just get instantly melted no matter how strong they are. So the amount of effort needing to do well with Cavs is just not worth the investment. You can spend half as much and way less effort on mages and do way more merit for yourself. So it's just not worth to do Cavs at all in general for the majority of players. You'll do much better with infantry even, or mages of course, and marksmen depending on the gameplay style as well as the long range warfare status. So this is why I'm just going to ignore any Cavs completely for the future of this game. Most likely there's just no point in them unless rally meta becomes useful, but then if rally meta becomes a thing, you only really need a few whales in your alliance to have the Cavs max. Nobody else needs to use them. So in my opinion, Cav is a wasted spot of heroes for most players, which obviously includes myself. But we do know that after Cavs, which is going to be very soon, there's going to be new infantry. Now, Goresh and Skogul are still broken as hell right now. So when the G3 version of an infantry comes out, we know they're going to be stupid broken. They're going to be better than any other heroes in the game because of how infantry are, at least in my opinion. And it's going to be most likely better than KvK Kogul, which means they're most likely going to be better than everybody because KvK Kogul trades good one-on-one against basically every March in the game currently. There is no one that really beats them. It's just because of how they are, obviously, especially when they're getting swarmed and stuff. You're always going to go trading merit positively. You're always going to be having a good impact for your alliance. So it's just, you know, amazing. And then obviously mages are going to come next. So that's going to be my focus, as that's my account's focus. So this is kind of the status of what I'm going to be doing in the future. And obviously I have a lot of stuff saved up where I'm going to be boosting a lot of heroes and stuff when the war is about to start, because there's no point in saving up all of this if you're not going to be using it. Now war is coming very soon, and this is when I'm going to start spending. When the new season starts, things are happening, and I have more of an idea of what's happening, long range warfare or not. That is when I'm going to start, you know, really going out and spending all of this stuff, as well as, you know, opening all this stuff and getting ready for training, getting ready for boosting, healing, all that kind of stuff. This is what's important, of course. So, you know, right now the pre-KvK event, there's no point in boosting really, because there is no point into it rather at all. But there will be a good point into having all this stuff for the future when the actual KvK and action starts. Now, where is the future of Call of Dragons headed? Well, of course, in my opinion, from my Rise of Kingdom experience, I do see quite a few paths forward. Now, in this new season, there is going to be a lot of stuff that we are already used to. They are bringing in a lot of KvK stuff from Rise of Kingdom, which I find really nice. This game obviously is not as much about rally and watching a number go up and down while you're doing absolutely nothing. And it's also not about just a ball of open field fighting like in Rise of Kingdom. There's a lot more going on in this game. It's a lot more casual friendly as well, because you have resource healing, but you also have free healing, and you have mages, which you can be pretty safe with. And there's also going to be a lot of interesting stuff that's coming from Rise of Kingdom without, hopefully, their crystal tech that's kind of ruined the game for many people. And obviously this mastery skill in this season is going to be very interesting, because it's going to make some heroes have very different loadouts than what you're used to. And there's going to be obviously a 4-way struggle, so 4 regions with a middle zone, which I think is going to be much nicer than what we've seen in Call of Dragons so far. And Alliance Seized Bastion, which obviously we've talked about in the previous video, but this is going to be a unit or a building that you can fill up with units, so you can garrison with Legion, and they are going to attack Alliance buildings. So they're going to be like a tower that attacks enemies, but they're going to be garrisoned. So my guess is that you're going to have to rally them to empty them, or I guess just kind of like a keep. I'm not sure exactly what it's gonna go look like, but I think rally would be the decision here, because a keep is kind of like a very unpleasant mechanic as well. When you have a bastion with rally, it would make some purpose for rally and garrison hero, which currently there is none. And then new policies, obviously are going to be pretty similar to what we used to, but their policies do have a very big impact on healing and stuff like that. And we shall just see if there's anything about long range in these, because so far it doesn't look like there's any season talent. So there is no long range warfare that it looks like. And the season map, as we see, you know, 4 corners, and then this is going to be the middle zone. So it looks like it's going to be balanced and even. And this is going to be something that every season is going to be sometimes a new map, but pretty much the same concept. And there's going to be different KvK maps, different KvK formats, and very, very high rewards from KvK if it's anything like Rise of Kingdom. So very worth doing. So it does look pretty exciting that they are bringing in some Rise of Kingdom elements. They're seeming to bring in the positive elements, leaving them sort of the negative ones back in Rise of Kingdom. So let's hope that this is going to be the way for the future of this game. Let me know what you think. How excited are you for the future? I've got a new promotion at work, so I'm a lot more busy than I used to be, but I am going to obviously play as much as I can and try and record as many war videos and footage as I can and make some montage like I've done in the past. So hopefully you guys enjoy that kind of content. Let me know if there's any kind of content you'd like to see from this mega battle of many YouTubers and big alliances in this KvK season. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see, and I'll try my best to provide that content for you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on my next video.